Attention passengers, this is your conductor speaking. We are about to arrive at the hesitation station. Please mind your step as you enter the station.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station podcast. I am Jay, along with my co-host Tank. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, bud. Can't complain. It's been a
I
pretty
mean, you
good
could
weekend so
complain,
far.
but like,
You don't listen.
I don't
It,
listen.
it, it don't matter.
It's just blah blah blah
Yeah, that's why I have headphones and earmuffs.
blah to drown
How
us,
are you bitching?
to drown me and your wife out. Is that why?
No idea.
But yeah, we got a new person with us. Aren't you excited about that?
Actually, yes, very much so. We met him. Well, you didn't meet him.
I didn't. This
Suck.
is the
You
first time meeting him.
wander off everywhere. You have the attention span of a flea,
Dude, I have ADHD. Leave me alone.
among many other things. Yeah, but no, I met him at Mississippi Comic Con, and he told me about, he was a writer and gave me a link and everything, and I found his books, and my dude, I'm gonna need to get some tips and tricks from him so I can figure mine out.
Well, why don't you
Is he
go ahead and
legit?
introduce him?
Mr. Tobey Truestory. What's up, bud?
Hey,
What's up?
man?
What's up?
How goes it?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just hanging
Well,
out on a Sunday, easy Sunday,
yeah, they all run together at some point. Like, I don't know.
right?
Facts.
So how have you been since the con?
Dude, just working on more stuff, man. I've always got something I'm working on, some kind of story or a project. And then I got my day job, of course, but I have more fun in my studio.
Yeah,
I need a studio.
you got a studio. It's called a room.
It's my bedroom, man. I need an
It's a
offshoot.
studio. I mean, you could make it a studio.
You know what? I'm gonna lock you in a closet, and that'll be your studio.
My
Yes, I can
first,
be Harry
my
Potter
first,
now.
my first studio was my bedroom, so I understand,
It's not bad. I just have
right?
peeking over the shoulder, like, what are you doing?
All right, yeah.
So before we get into your work, let's talk about you. Let's talk about Toby. What's up with him?
Oh man, I'm just been a storyteller ever since I was able to like draw with crayons. I instead like I'm not I was that guy that was in elementary school and sitting in class drawing instead of listening to the teacher. So much so that I was like infamous for it. They like everybody knew that I was that guy, and the teachers would always have to like get on to me. And then I remember this one time, like, of course, since I'm an artist or whatever, I suck at math. I guess that's like a thing. And I had to take my notebook up to the teacher to show her some of my work and all that. But in the same notebook, I was doing pages and pages of like a comic. So she actually went through all those pages and wrote with her red pen, "Not needed," on every single page. She made it an effort to do that. So I was like, oh yeah, I was definitely that guy.
Well, I mean, there's better things. There's worse things to be known as.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now later on I got, well, like I said, I started drawing and then I got into writing because found out I can write faster than I can draw. So I took some like writing classes in high school and experimenting and stuff like that. And then after I got out of high school, I got into college and stuff, tried to do the art thing, but the whole time it was weird. Like whenever I was in class, it's like a curse or something. I was sitting in class, teacher was doing their thing. I wasn't drawing, but I was daydreaming about what I wanted to write.
Hmm.
And as soon as I got out of my classes, I like hurried back to my dorm room, sat in front of my computer, and picked up where I left off on writing a novel. So I
Nice.
was like, there, yeah, I couldn't help it. So I eventually sort of graduated college, but I don't really even know what my degree was. So I've been pursuing this. It's just in me to tell stories. So,
How do you go
but
to college and not know what your degree was?
right. Well, I guess it had something to do with art. So I had art classes that took painting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I had fun, but it was kind of weird, like paying a lot of money just to goof around. I eventually had to get out of that.
Just imagine that. Just hey, Toby, what you in college for? Mm-mm.
Seems like a
Hey,
lifetime ago.
hey, as long as you enjoyed your time, that's what matters.
Right, right.
You know, a lot of people use it as a stepping stone to figure out what they want to do. Some people
True.
go and still don't know what they want to do.
Right, right.
Uh, like that guy,
Yeah. I've been
that guy
considering
right
you
there.
don't know which way I am, but yes, I don't know what I'm doing.
There we go.
But yeah, how many books have you written? Because I know Tank showed me a couple of them on Amazon, and there's quite a few. Let's elaborate on that.
Well, the thing is, it's like I forget what year I got serious about writing, and whatever that year was, I kept writing stories since. So I've got a bunch of first drafts, like finished, right?
Hmm.
So I got them on my desktop over there, and I'd have to go through and count them. It's like only a few. The few that you saw are the ones that actually got finished and edited, like a professional editor,
Yeah,
and got them published and put on Amazon and Books a Million, all those other places. But dude, like I said, I'm always working on a story. I'll finish a first draft, put it aside, start on another story,
hmm,
finish that one. I might go back to the one I started before, or I might go to a whole other one. So I mean, I got like a lot of catching up to do on myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna run out of work, so to speak.
yeah,
that's like I went through Amazon and I found one of them on Kindle, and I have Kindle, so I checked out Karma Worm,
Yeah,
and dude, I thoroughly enjoyed that one. But going
nice.
through Amazon, you've got it looks like 12 right now.
That's
Uh,
pretty. I think yeah. I can't remember how many. I think I got like 5 novels,
yeah,
two graphic novels, and then there's like a few that are kind of like little short form, like web comics or something like that.
yeah. There's what is it? There's one sided,
Yeah, that's
Pyro,
it.
Swing, and a few other ones. I mean, like
Yeah,
I said, the one I've read was Karma Worm, and dude, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But now I gotta buckle down and ooh, hold on, maybe another one on Kindle. I might have to go back to my
I
Kindle.
forget. I know there's uh, I think 3 that are available in ebook form, if I remember right.
I'll have to look again. I know. Like I said, Karma Worm, but I just saw Legacy.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
one of my earlier graphic novels.
I'll have to look into it once we get off of here and give that one a chance.
I
But
got you.
dude, Karma Worm was phenomenal. I loved it.
Totally rocks. Yeah, that's like my a sort of cyberpunk
Yeah,
novella.
yeah, that's what you told me. And once you said that, and I went back and read it again, I was like, yeah, you know what, I get it. I understand.
Right, right. Not as crazy high tech as cyberpunk usually gets, but the elements are there. So
Well, I mean, I think that is kind of what pushed it over for me because when a lot of people when they think cyberpunk, they think like the game that came out. Cyberpunk was it 2077?
Oh, yeah.
Keanu Reeves has played Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, the whole mesh of cybernetics and organic material just thrown together. But yours didn't really, I guess, follow that formula. I mean, there were, you could tell that it was there, but you didn't, I
Yeah.
guess, dive head first into it. And I mean, I thought it was refreshing.
It's kind of like dealing more with like hacking
Yeah,
and then like dealing with corruption.
yeah.
Kind of like the two of the hallmarks of cyberpunk. So
I
at
enjoyed
least
it. I think you did really well on it.
appreciate it.
So I want to talk about your art on your covers. Do you do the art?
I did all the art except for the one on the Monster of T.
Mhm.
That's the first book, Hunter. I actually got a professional comic book artist. I'm a big fan of his. I discovered one of his comics in the comic book shop, and the reason why I picked it up, it reminded me of a lot of manga style art. And then I found him on Facebook and messaged him, and it made me think of a particular manga artist.
Mhm.
And I brought up the name. Right now, I can't think of the name, but I brought up the name. I was like, I asked him if he was a fan of that artist, and it turns out he was. And I told him why I said that and all that. So I told him that his stuff reminded me of that artist, and he took it as a compliment. And I've
Yeah.
never met him because he lives in Brazil, but I've corresponded with him on Messenger, and then he's still doing comics and stuff. I'm reading one of the comics he's doing art on now, and it's actually a cyberpunk comic. And but one day I approached him. I was like, "Dude, I got to get you to do a book cover for me." And we talked it out and told him it was kind of like a sort of a Final Fantasy feel for the art, the style, and look and all that. And I've had people actually say that when I set up my booth or whatever. They're like, it reminds them of a Final Fantasy cover or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I
I
So
can
can
see
see
that.
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, your cover art looks amazing. Just seeing what we have on Amazon, you know, it looks good,
appreciate
especially for artists like yourself. I mean, dude, if I saw these at a booth, I would totally snag one up.
it. Well, that's what
Now,
I'm hoping.
believe it or not, believe it or not, Mr.
See,
Tank,
he
I,
says he
I
would
did.
snag one. Now I know him. Just looking what I see on Amazon. If he didn't buy them all, I'd be surprised.
I bought the Ice Nine Kill CD one time. Okay, it was a band of mine that I absolutely love, and I bought all their albums from the first one all the way up to the recent. So,
Yeah. So if he sees something he likes and he has the money, he's gonna get the one he likes and everything leading up to it.
facts.
Right, right. Yeah, kind of like a collection or so, something
I
like
am
that.
a collector. I am a
Yeah.
collector. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, believe it or not, Mr. Tank, I actually did my research. So,
I don't
Toby,
believe it. No.
Toby, let's dive in for a little bit because the Monster Tea is something that I can get into. So let's talk a little bit without spoiling it in case somebody wants to get it. Let's talk a little bit about Adam. How would you
Okay.
start with him?
Well, most of my stories come from dreams I have. And this one, it was a very short dream. Uh, the main character, it was a young guy, and he was having to fight a monster. And the monster happened in dream logic, right? It happened to be in the shape of the letter, like a capital T. Okay, I was like, okay. So that's where I got the monster of T. But then just starting to like whenever I get like a scene or just like some whatever the dream shows me, I'll start asking questions is like, why is that happening? Who are these people? What's their relation and all that? And not to spoil anything, but the who the monster was in the dream was significant, and so you kind of like it plays into the story. Like since he was going to be hunting down this monster, I had to figure out, okay, how's it gonna hunt? Where's it gonna go? Why is he even hunting in the first place? And just started using my imagination to come up with all the answers to these things. And I guess who knows where I got the idea, but the story, the way it's written, and the way the character sees the world, he's got this sort of poetic outlook on like on life. And so I started thinking about that. It's not like if you go someplace in the story, you don't always, or you explain things in detail to like map out the scene for the reader. But in this one, it's kind of like you got some of that, but most of it is how the character feels about where he is instead, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted the reader to be in the guy's head. I mean, from the beginning of the story, when you're introduced to him, you might think that he's a little bit of a head case. He's just like a little off, like these people ask him what the monster of T is, and he never gives them a straight answer. And it's kind of funny because once you find out what the monster of T is at the end, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I see why. Hopefully, I see why he did all of that, because it's kind of like, in a way, the monster of T can be multiple things depending on who is searching for it. Almost like the monster of T is just a general term.
Yeah.
I'm currently, so I'm a slow reader. I do not read very fast at all.
Yeah.
So when I read, I usually just like copy and paste all the words and then put it on my app on my phone, and then just let it read it out loud to me, because that captivates me for some reason.
Yeah. Almost audiobook like.
Yeah. And I'm currently on page 60 right now, so I'm not very fast.
Oh, I got you.
So, but it's kind of seeming like a lot of things are kind of connected right now. But again, I don't know. I don't. I'm on page 60 of 253 or 240, one of the two. So
Got you.
I got a little while to go to finish your book, dude.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I guess like the driving force behind the guy's travels is when he receives those riddles. I guess you remember the scene kind of near the beginning where that guy in the black suit walks up to him and hands him the riddle, and he starts reading it. It's like a poem. Yeah, that is kind of like his map throughout the whole story. He's gonna
He's gonna use the riddles for a map.
Well, in a way, yeah. It's like whenever he read that first one, it was pointing him toward a certain destination, right? Like when he's having a conversation with that one guy at the bar, he starts quoting a riddle, and the guy's like, "What?" It's just like, "Yeah, you're not the person I'm looking for."
Just walk.
Anybody who knows it's like anybody who knows the riddle or whatever is kind of like involved in his hunt, so to speak.
Going off of what you said about the monster T, and this will help Tank. How do you get away from that writer's block?
Yes.
How do I get away from writer's block?
Yes. How do you get? Because you've pumped out a few stories so far, and I mean you've got the rough drafts that you said you have. How do you get past the part like you'll flesh out a couple chapters and then it's just nothing? For a week, a month, or however long. What's your process in all this?
Well, I sort of treat it like a job, like it's something I've got to do, even though it's like totally fun every time it's something I want to do. And whenever I'm like at work, my day job or whatever, I'm always daydreaming, and it'll pop up or whatever. Or when I'm driving, I'm daydreaming, and so it's not always, but sometimes I'll start thinking about a scene I'm working on, and then it's like, where do I need to go with it, or what needs to be accomplished? Because I'll have a sort of end goal, not every time, but I'll have bits and pieces of the story, kind of like milestones, and I just need to get the characters there. So it's like, what kind of madness can I come up with just to get the characters from point A to point B and C and all of that, and just have a blast, have fun doing it, even if it gets weird or crazy. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
It's like, give the readers something to go like, wait, what? Okay, and didn't see that coming. So, I guess that's something that keeps them reading.
If you're a daydreamer, man, I'm gonna ask you something that I thought I was the only one that did this. So I'm a daydreamer too. But
Yeah.
the problem with me is that I daydream about the wildest things. And like, for example, I'll just be chilling, it's a slow day at work. I'm looking around and I look outside. And outside, I'm fighting a monster with lightning powers. And
Nice.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm the guy in like this cool with this big ass sword, and I'm like, ha. I mean, I come up with some weird stuff just daydreaming.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
the worst part is when I'm driving in a car and I look outside the window, or I'm not driving, I'm passenger.
Right, right.
I look outside the window and I'm keeping up with the car and I'm jumping over all these things.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, dude, whatever.
the only one, or is that you too?
Yeah, it's well, I was always playing with action figures. They always had, it was action figures from certain cartoons, and they had their stories. But I was always making up my own stories or whatever. It was kind of like I was able to start from there, and then sometimes I would actually make my own action figures from pieces of other ones or whatever, give them names. And then if I wasn't doing that, then I was running around in the yard doing whatever. And so it's just like, I guess I never grew out of that,
Yeah.
even though I don't play with action figures anymore. But I just collect them now. But no, dude, now it's kind of like, maturing into that. I get to write them down or draw them out, so that's like way cooler. You know, you get to write an actual story. It's kind of like, dude, I get to be one of those guys that wrote the stories that I read when I was little, or the TV shows that I watched when I was little and stuff like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
I get to be that now.
I unfortunately did not grow out of it. I will sometimes still do Naruto hand signs and try to do Chidori, but it has not worked. Lightning has not come out my hand yet. So
Oh man,
Keyword yet.
yeah.
I've always wanted to be able to do the Kamehameha.
Dude, when I was little, I remember thinking to myself, because like in the show, they do the Kamehameha or Kamehameha. Sorry, nerds. Sorry, don't crucify
Right? Yeah.
Your
me.
time, Bell.
Yeah, I did. I would see the Kamehameha, and then they would
Ah,
like get hit with it, and then they would just like go blissfully. And I'm like, I wonder if that would hurt. Like, would it hurt? So I went up to Tank one day, and I'm like, hey man, do you think it would hurt if we get hit by that? And he's like, dude, yeah, it's pure energy, of course. I'm like, okay,
They're always shouting.
yeah, I mean, they make it
Yeah,
seem like it's blissful. I just wondered.
well, it's like, I guess at some point you just go into shock and you're like, well, I guess this is it, and they just
Yeah.
accept it.
well, I mean, if you watch like when Cell gets hit by it, or when I think Frieza gets hit by it at some point, when they truly get defeated by it, it's essentially ripping them apart at the atoms.
Right, right.
So I mean, I don't know if you would actually
Enjoy it.
feel that after a certain point. Like you would feel the initial impact of it,
Right.
but once it ramps up, I don't know how that would work.
I think there's a lot of some disconnections going on in your nerve endings.
It's like, wow, this water is cool. Wait, where'd my hand go?
Right,
Okay,
right.
everybody, welcome back to Anatomy 101. I am Seth.
Right, man.
But yeah, man, that's awesome. I really am glad that I'm not the only one that just daydreams. He
Oh,
daydreams,
dude.
or he daydreams about buffets, but that's about it. So
No, sir. My dreams are dwarves and mead, good sir.
Heck yeah.
yeah,
You said mead? I got a friend that can make some mead.
He has a friend that can make some mead too.
Nice.
never again. Never again.
What's wrong, Jay? You don't like my
no,
mead?
no, because this man brewed mead, let it ferment, did everything he could. He brought it over to my house, and I'm like, dude, this is good. And so
Yeah.
I chugged it. That was my problem. Is I
He
chugged
drank all of it.
and I got angry
I had none left. He drank a gallon of it by himself.
by myself. It was good,
See,
dude. It was smooth.
yeah, it's very easy to drink, so you just have to
I
make
did.
yourself sip on it.
I didn't even get a cup. It was gone. He took the bottle
It was good.
and
To me.
just
I
drank it
thought you made
all.
good
I was
mead.
like, my God, I was thirsty too.
It's like, is this for me?
Glug.
Apparently it was.
Dang.
Do you live locally in Mississippi or no?
Oh yeah, I live in Hattiesburg.
Okay,
You don't
you need to
live
get
too
your
far away.
friend. You need to, yeah, you don't live that far away. You need to get your friend and bring us some mead.
Right.
He'll pay for it.
Okay, right?
Uh,
Hold on.
he
I didn't
just
hear
has
you.
to have a whole lot of honey.
You can't ask for things for free, sir. We have to
I
pay
know,
for it
I know.
or render
Right.
services in advance.
Well, I'm pretty sure my friend wouldn't mind making money off of it.
But
How much? Like, does he only brew like a gallon at a time, or has he mastered the art of multiple gallons?
Well, he's tried different flavors and stuff like that, but he'll always set one thing aside as his birthday mead. He'll start one on his birthday and then drink it his next birthday. But the other ones, it's like you only need to let it sit for like a month, I think, and
Yeah.
it's ready. So he's not always doing it, but it's something that he's done.
Hell yeah.
are you,
Yeah,
Tank, are you
good
ever
stuff.
going to make any more?
What?
What's that?
I was saying, Tank, are you ever going to make any more for me?
After that, I don't know. You didn't let me have any.
I'll let you have a glass.
You're banned.
It's like make this one for me and that one for you.
Exactly.
If
So
you got to write your names on them, do that.
write the whole gallon for me and then be like, here, Tank, here's your one glass.
It don't work. You can't read.
Dang it. Well,
Okay,
yeah,
so let's talk about your collection behind you. I want to know a little bit about that. Let's dive into that because not only are you an artist, you're also a nerd like us. So
oh
let's talk
yeah.
about that.
Well, I guess like right there. Back in the day, I did have the original Ninja Turtles action figures,
Nice.
but even the ones with the rubber heads, right?
Mhm.
But as time goes on, who knows what happened to them? But a friend of mine, I guess he still had it or whatever. And for one of my birthdays, he gave me was it Michelangelo? I think, yeah. And then I found some of the other ones, and I just started collecting. Since I'm a big fan of Mikey, I started collecting a couple of different versions of Mikey.
Yeah.
So that's what you got there.
Hell
And
yeah.
then a bunch of my figures are like anime or manga characters. You can see those, like especially over that way. But above, I got like I don't know if you can see those. Hold on. There we go.
Ooh.
Oh,
But you'll see a couple of Gundams up that way, and I got Cloud Strife and Titus,
wait,
and couple of girlies up there. And then then over here, like over this way, is where the more expensive figurines come from. These are like there's a brand called World of 3A.
Oh, I've heard of them.
The artist, I can't think of his name right now, but I'm a fan of his art. He like draws all of these characters and makes comics for them. And then, but he's got like kind of like Seth MacFarlane. He's got a toy line.
Yeah.
And I collected a couple of comic books, but these things right here, you either luckily find them for a good price or whatever, or you just have to save up your pennies and hope you can find one, you can afford one day.
Yeah, I've seen some of them go up super high on price.
Oh yeah. But I've collected some of the different types of clothes and stuff like that, and sort of some of them got names, some of them are just pieces of other characters, and I just put them together. I just thought they'd be pretty cool, and I love the style. It's just a nice style. It's like it goes right along with his art. I mean, I think that's like totally cool. I mean, I've always wanted to make my own action figures, so I can't wait to get a 3D printer, right?
Yeah, I would love one too. I'd do some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'd print out like Power Ranger weapons and some small figures and Megazord and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. No, I say whenever it comes to like doing comics and stuff like that, just creating them myself or reading them, I always loved character design.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I'll just create a character and then all of a sudden start asking questions like, who are they? What do they do? Why do they look like that? And all of a sudden I got a story. Like that one you see on Amazon there, Impishka.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see that one. That's a graphic novel. That's the first of a series. I'm still working on it. But I drew the face. I drew her face one day. Just a random drawing, and put it away. And then I stumbled upon the drawing. I was like, huh. And I started asking, like, why does she look like that? And I'd be like, oh crap. I came up with the idea of she didn't always look like that. Yeah. So why did she transform? And then from there, a whole like epic story came about.
Nice. I need to get into that because I've been working on one for a while. I've got a couple chapters placed out. I've got the characters, in the world, the setting for the world placed out. But I hit that writer's block and it hit me hard.
Really?
I'm sitting there like, all right, I know what I want to do. I just got to figure out how to get through to it.
But do you read a lot of manga or just novels or whatever?
I read a ton.
Really? All the time? Yeah, it kind of like keeps my imagination stirred up. I'm always reading. So I guess that's what it kind of keeps my mind there. So it's always alive, always working. So
I think that's something that I need to do is like when I'm reading, if I run across something that piques my interest, keep that as a thought. Like, hey, maybe my character could run through something like that, and maybe that'll help get me through the writer's block.
Right. Well, the thing is, like with writers, whenever we're reading, it's always referred to as doing our homework. So it's not just
think of that.
It's like not just for fun, but it's work at the same time. So a lot's going on.
I could see that because I realized that when I'm reading, I'm paying attention to the word structure and how the story flows and everything, but I'm actually looking at all the details, not just getting immersed in the story. I'm like, well, why is this flying this way, or why is the plot going towards this direction?
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the stories that I'm reading, but I'm diving more into it than I used to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's a couple of manga artists or whatever that I follow, because it's just like the style of the stories that they tell. And it's kind of like, okay, for an example, with slice of life stories.
Yeah.
Like I read all kinds of different genres, but slice of life, one of these is like the setup is sort of post-apocalyptic over in Japan. There's a sci-fi element, but you got this robot character. She's like an android or whatever. She runs a coffee like cafe, right? But since it's a slice of life, the way it's told, there's not a lot going on. It's just she goes and hangs out with somebody for a little bit or whatever. Like there's like a lot of places got flooded in this scenario, so they get to go to what's left of a beach, or they'll go fishing or something silly like that or whatever. But it's I guess it's expected with slice of life, and you're ready for it. But I have no problem with it like just lagging or whatever. The pacing is fine.
Yeah.
But it's because it's like the way that the person draws it and everything, you can totally feel it. You feel the emptiness of the world or whatever, like what happened after the catastrophe and stuff like that. And what I really liked about it is like every little thing is now appreciated. And it's, every person has a very unique personality. You fall in love with them, and it's like so funny how much that you can fit in a slice of life story, and how I guess that's what slice of life stories just are meant to do with what little they show, so to speak. So it's like different approaches to different genres. It's like I often wonder about that. It's like you got people who maybe only read a certain genre. That's all they read or whatever. And then there's people that read different kinds. And it's like, is it so easy to like switch gears and stuff like that? It's like, what do people expect when they come to those types of genres and all that? So it's just fun things to think about.
Well, see, I gotta agree with you on that, because like when I first started reading manga and everything, I would stick mostly to like action adventure type stuff. I didn't really go for the slice of life or the romance or anything like that. But as I got further into it and actually started looking at writing as well, I realized that you can dive into the details of all of it. And I mean, yeah, slice of life may not be your thing, or isekai may not be your thing, but there's stories and lessons to learn from all of it.
Oh
It
yeah.
blew my mind, because I started reading like slice of life and romance and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, dude, the plot development, the storyline being driven by the actions of one character versus another, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a slice of pizza.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I'll get into some of the, I guess it's like romantic comedies, but it's not like it's not just for like the ooey gooeyness of romance or whatever, but I get into it mostly because of the comedy. It's just fun. The characters are silly. They'll get in these silly, awkward situations, and I'm just like busting out laughing while I'm reading it. And even though there's a lot of romance involved, so it's like, sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need some action or whatever, so.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you need a mystery.
I can't say anything because I am currently reading it's a comic, I guess. It's called Down to Earth. It's on Webtoons. I
Down to Earth.
absolutely love that series. I mean, it's a romance slash comedy, but it's like I get so infatuated with it that it's just like, dude, like I've got to the point to where I'm like, go ahead and get this over with. Admit how you feel.
It's like you're torturing me. You want me to do it for you?
Go ahead and guess.
It's like I found one that I started reading. It's a time regression one. It's is it reincarnation of the Knight of the Frozen Flower or something along those lines. I'll have to get back to you with it. So what it is the main protagonist is a female knight, and her family was cursed because an ancestor killed a fire witch.
Well,
Well, the ancestor went to an ice witch to try and counter the curse and told her how to do it and all that. But what she neglected to mention is there's a side effect when you do it. So the girl ends up being, grotesque, looking like an orc and all that stuff.
jeez.
Well, yeah, she ends up um,
I shouldn't
becoming
laugh.
the right hand for the prince, and he becomes the emperor. Well, he ends up killing her after she has served her purpose. But
Well,
right when she's about to die, the curse gets broken, and she gets sent back in time uh,
dang.
to just before they met, and she goes into training, trains, gets strong enough, breaks the curse, comes back, and now she's super beautiful, but she is sick of everybody's shit. So like she has the memories of everything that happened before she came back.
She had to go
So
through it
like
twice.
yeah, so like the crown prince is trying to get her on his side, and she's like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing this shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Holy crap! Did they explain how she was able to go back in the past?
I haven't got that far yet.
I got
I'm on like chapter 40. There's 67 chapters so far.
you.
It what is it called? It's gonna bug the crap out of me now.
Is it one of those manga kind of stories where they purposely have a long name? Like I died and got reincarnated as so and whatever.
Knight of the Frozen Flower is what it's called.
I gotta read that. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, dude, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I've screwed up and binged read it for the past couple of days.
I will tell you,
It's
it kind of sounds like something I'm reading as well on webtoons again. It's called "Marry My Husband," but she basically has cancer and she got killed by her husband, so she has to pretty much do what you just said, Tank. She goes back into time, back to when she's in college and she's still with that piece of crap husband that killed her, and so she's living it all twice, but now she's like pretty much beautiful, and it's just a lot of stuff. Because I don't want to ruin it for anybody that wants to read it, but it is a phenomenal series. So definitely would suggest it to you.
that's why I like stuff like this. Like Toby, your stories are amazing, and then the ones that I read on the website I go to, they're phenomenal because, like, with your stories and with manga and comics and all this, it gives you a chance to escape reality. Everybody has a hard time. Everybody deals with whatever they're dealing with, needs to find comfort in something. And for a lot of people, that's reading. And the stories that we run across, regardless if it's just a one shot, it's got like 50 pages and that's it, or if it's something like Harry Potter and it's got 7 books, what have you, it doesn't matter. There's always something, a
Yeah.
lesson to learn, a story to be told that helps people deal with the trauma or the issues or what have you.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful, man.
Yeah. The best way to teach somebody something is tell them a story or like a parable or something like that. But I think it was Stan Lee who said, like, when somebody was asking him if he thought that like writing comics and stuff like that was kind of silly or whatever. But I forget how he said it, but basically like it takes the entertainers of the world to keep everybody else sane. So it's like you got to have that element in there. It kind of like it reminds you of why you're doing the things you do in life or whatever. It's like you need that encouragement. So
Well, I mean, if you look back through time and before, we had the written word, everything was done orally.
yep.
Stories were passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth. So there's no telling what stories that have been lost.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had or how they've been altered. Now, we've got written word, we've got comics and manga and actual stories and historical
Yeah.
books and everything. So it's like, I mean, you never know what it's. I hate to say it, but it's a great quote from Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
The same could be said with stories, man. You never
Yeah.
know what you're going to find out of it.
Well, that's the thing with manga, since they've translated it into English and brought it over here to the States. I mean, that's a way for America and Japan to connect, right? And in a way that people will understand. It's like everybody loves a story. Everybody can get into a story, and if you want to learn something about another nation, another culture, they can bring it to somebody through a story.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned all kinds of stuff about the Japanese through all the manga and stuff like that. So it started off exotic, and that was what drew me in. And now it's kind of like expected. Now it's like almost, well, not second nature, but I mean, I'm just used to it. But I still crave it. I still like it. So
Yeah.
Well, man, that's another thing. Like stories, regardless of what they are, you're gonna have fans from everywhere. So, I
right,
mean, essentially, they can bridge the gap between everybody. Like you might have issues with somebody, but then you find that common ground. Like, hey, you love this, well, I love this too. Let's talk about that.
right.
It's amazing how you can befriend people over something as simple as a story.
Oh yeah, and then at all the comic conventions, the anime conventions, whatever they are, everybody's gathering in one spot
Yeah,
because of that kind of stuff, and everybody is like, "Hey, you like this too? Wow!" I mean, sitting at the booth whenever I get to set up a booth wherever. Sure, I want to make money and stuff like that, but what is most rewarding about just setting up a booth is all the conversations I have, like all the people that I meet. I've met so many people. It's some people I only meet once, but then there's been other artists and like people setting up booths and stuff like that I'm still friends with on Facebook and stuff like that, and we'll see each other at other conventions. So it's like, oh, it's been a while, but hope you're doing well and stuff like that. So I guess just because of where we met and what we were doing, it was just that connection was locked in. So it's like you can't forget it now. So
and that I think is what's beautiful about it all because outside of conventions and everything, you might run across that same person, never have met them before in your life, and just they walk past and it's just another day. But once you hit that convention and you see that same person and it's, oh, you like this, I like this too, and then bam, now you got a new friend
yeah,
because, and this is my opinion, society is set up to split us apart. They
yeah,
want everybody to hate everybody, don't find common ground and all that jazz. But if you sit down and talk to people, actually talk, not argue, not bicker, have a discussion, you'll find out that there's a lot in common between a lot of people.
oh yeah. What? Well, that's the.
I said I hate Tank.
And yet we're best friends.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with like conversations. It's like, since I'm in this, trying to get into this business of like selling my books and stuff like that, there's the whole like elevator pitch and stuff like that. You got to have some nice quote or whatever just to try to convince people or whatever. You got to keep it simple, short, or whatever. But I found out that I've sold a lot of books to people when I was able to sit down with them and talk about it. Like just it was comfortable. I wasn't trying to like shove it in their face and like just buy it already or whatever. It's just talking about the story.
Yeah.
And it's just plenty of time to do it and casual conversation about it. And they ended up, they were able to absorb it that way. I wasn't trying to like trick them into buying or giving them some kind of sales pitch or whatever. And it was what they needed. It was enough. It was their guard was down, so to speak. and they ended up buying it or whatever. So it's like those conversations are definitely magical. They're definitely rewarding.
I will tell you this, from a consumer perspective of it. Tank, will you do me a favor? And will you get that book and show Toby, the one I gave you earlier?
If I can find it.
Will you put it on the bed, dude?
You thought I did. Joke's on you. I hate it.
So that one right there is Bridge Quest. Pete
Okay.
Matt is the guy who wrote it, and I met him over at where did we go? Was it Huntsville? It was me, you, Michaela.
Yeah.
and him.
Yeah, it was Huntsville when you got Amy Joe Johnson and David Ghost autograph, and we
That's right,
met
yeah.
Goofy and all them.
Yeah. So we went to Huntsville, and my wife is a big reader. She loves to read.
Yeah.
And we have a thing to where if we see indie artists or just artists or writers in general, we'll pick up one. And I was like, she's gonna love a new book to read because she reads. So I'm looking around. There's plenty of artists I could have chose from, and I saw that cover art, and I'm like, it looks interesting. Let me check this out. And
Yeah.
the guy came up to me, and we just talked. And I'm like, okay, I'll check out this book. And believe it or not, that book is good.
Yeah.
My wife absolutely loves that book, and it was just like a $10-15 book that I just took a chance on, and she absolutely loves it.
Yep. Oh yeah. Sometimes whenever I'm not, I've been to several conventions where I wasn't setting up a booth and just going up to other artists and stuff like that, having conversations, whatever. Like there was this one in New Orleans. I think it was actually called the New Orleans Comic Con. I can't remember. Anyway, I started off at near the entrance, and they had all the artists or whatever, all the booths set up there. And I started at the first one and just stopped and just started talking. And I had a conversation there. The next one had another conversation there. I just kept going until I actually ended up at some of the professional comic book artists for some Marvel titles.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I read this one or whatever. And it was awesome because the artist, he was totally gushing about just being able to do it and just having fun drawing that title or whatever. And I wasn't the one that did the work, but I was having fun listening to him. I mean, the dude was freaking glowing, right? He just loved what he does, you know? So, and at that convention, I don't think I even got to see all of it because I had spent so much time at each booth to where it was time to close for the day. And I was like, what? Oh crap. It was like I finally looked up and looked around to get my bearings and realized I only got so far. But I mean, I've only paid so much to get in and all that, but I got so much out of it because all the conversations I had. It was just, yeah. I even got to meet, like, down in Gulfport, there is a comic book shop where I found an indie, I think it's an indie comic. Right now, I can't think of the name of it, but I found it and I liked it, so I had to drive all the way back down to the coast one day and get the second volume or whatever, and loved it. Well, at this con, that artist was like, I came up to the table and I saw those graphic novels there. I was like, oh, I read those. I love those. And the dude is like, oh, yeah, I'm the artist for that. I was like, what? So I got to talk to him about the stories and all. It was just a nice find. It's like I actually got to meet that guy. I would have never thought I would be able to meet that random artist, right? So, I mean, I still remember the story. It left such an impact. So meeting that guy was a reward, and something, yeah, I'll never forget it. So,
and that's all that matters, man, is that we can have those conversations with each other, and we can talk about those different kinds of things, and we're like, oh, hey, we like that kind of stuff. Like, look, it's not hard to become friends with me. Ask Tank.
Slice of pizza, shot of Jack. Best friend,
no. I stopped
Okay,
Um,
sorry. Slice of pizza and a Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Haven't had one of those in a while.
To be my friend, you could just come up to me and be like, "Hey, bro, I like Naruto, I like Final Fantasy and Resident Evil, and I'll be your best friend."
Nice.
Can confirm the Naruto thing.
Yeah,
I guess you're watching what is it, Boruto, his son or something like that?
yeah, I'm looking into it right now. I don't personally like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be jumping on that bandwagon anytime soon. But it's getting better.
Yeah.
But I still don't like it because Baruto's just as whiny as I don't know what. Like he's like, "Oh, my dad's the Hokage." I'm like, dude, shut up.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, as much manga as I read, I never got to get into that one. So I know those go on for like, I don't know how many volumes, like 50 or more than that. I don't think it's as much as One Piece. I mean, One Piece is still going, and that's like up in,
Great.
right?
Great. I love it. Are you ready for the new movie?
Well, I saw one movie years ago. I, I don't even remember the name of the movie, but it was when, what's his name? I forget the main character's name. Monkey or something like that. It was when he was going up against. It was when he was going up against this guy named Alligator, I think.
Yeah.
Crocodile.
Crocodile. There we go. Yeah, Crocodile.
We'll actually, after this airs, we will actually be getting done with a meet and greet with him.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's gonna rock. That's cool.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about the live action that's coming out on Netflix.
Is it a movie or is it a series?
Live action.
Yeah, it's a live action. It looks great. Like
I didn't know it was a live action.
Yeah, it's on. It's on Netflix, and apparently Oda actually has a hand in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Like
there it is.
he showed me the trailer for it last night, and I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm kind of excited about it.
Same.
So it's not like, okay, like live action, like live actors instead of like a CG. Okay.
Yeah. Oda ended up making Netflix reshoot all the fight scenes that they had. So, yeah, I thought he only made them reshoot a couple, but I was told that it was all of them.
It's like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
He was not happy with any of them. So he's like, yeah, redo all this. And Netflix was like,
Well, to be fair, have you seen some of the live actions that Netflix puts out?
yeah, oh yeah. We're not going to talk about Death Note.
Like,
there is no live action in boxing, so.
I saw the live action Full Metal Alchemist. I was like,
I will give them that one. They did okay with that one.
They did decent. The second one wasn't all that good, in my personal opinion. It felt like it was really rushed. The first one though was great. I loved it.
I guess I don't know which one I saw then. I thought there was only one, but I don't know.
Now their Death Note, I think the only good thing they did with it was who they had play Ryu.
Yeah, that's about it. It'd be fun.
Willem Dafoe was wonderful.
Oh, sweet, nice, yeah, okay.
Now, my friend Will said this last night, and I can't lie, I kind of have to agree. Most of the live adaptations have been garbage. I'm sorry, not sorry, but it's true. And watch the One Piece series or movie be the best one made, and I'm like, guys, it wasn't that hard. Come on,
right?
If One Piece and Oda and everybody else can do this, why can't y'all?
Well, okay. Speaking of live action, and then going back to Cyberpunk, did you guys watch the Ghost in the Shell movie? The live action with
Scarlett Johansson? Yeah.
No, we're not gonna talk about that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They did okay, and I mean, for what it was all right. But to me, it wasn't Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny that the people are complaining about the whitewashing and stuff like that. But that was like a premature judgment Because, I mean, at the end, I don't know if I'm going to spoil it for anybody, but you find out that she actually is Japanese. But she's got another cybernetic body for the plot. So it kind of made sense why she looks totally different than her original Japanese form. So they just needed to wait and watch it.
Kevin, you want to see something funny?
What's that?
Okay, check this out. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about The Last Airbender, the live action version.
There is no live action in Ba Sing Se.
He's supposed to be coming up with there's like a new series. I heard about that.
Tank despises that movie.
Look.
So
Yeah.
So I watched the animated series and fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It came out. I even like Legend of Korra, and that got a lot of flack for whatever reason.
Yeah.
There's parts I like about Korra, but the first one was definitely the best.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But the live action that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did.
Right, yeah, it's too bad.
Look, man, I get. All right, so when he did it, from what I understand, it was not garnered at the fans of the series. It was garnered at the children. That's fine. You can do what you want. Make your product, do whatever. But beware that fans of the series are going to be up in arms if it's not at least close to the source material.
Right.
And the way he had it set up, just Aang was called Ong.
Yeah.
Bend anything.
So
they had 30 minutes of dancing to bend 2 flames and a matchstick.
Right.
It's like, no.
And then on top of that, what I really hated is they had to have a source. And I'm like, that's bull. Because they can just fire Ben out of their hands and be done.
Yeah.
Why do you have a source?
Well,
the source is yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Toby, but I can speak for me and Tank that we are big fans of Avatar. And when we became friends and talked about it, we're like, yeah, that just doesn't exist in our book.
Right.
I can understand the Earthbenders not bending because even in the series, if there's no Earth, they can't do anything.
True.
So I get it, like the scene where they're on the iron platform in the middle of the ocean. I get that.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
True.
My problem is in the movie, Aang made the speech, but in the series, it was Katara. They took away one of Katara's major plots, major points that made her a badass.
It's been a while since I only watched the movie once, so I don't even remember the speech.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
They're
coming out with a new live action. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm concerned because at first, Michael and Brian, the creators, were supposed to have a hand in it, but then they left because of creative differences.
Uh-oh.
So I'm concerned. Now,
yeah.
I've seen who they have for the cast, and I'm cool with the cast. The cast looks awesome.
I didn't even look. So
I am concerned.
I mean, it's like this, man. It's like this, Toby. It's like if I came to you and I'm a big time director and I said, "Hey, Toby, I want to make Monster T a movie," and then you come into the studio and the monster's an S, and you're like, this is not how I wrote my book.
Right.
You're not going to be happy about it, right?
Right.
And that's why I can understand why the creators of Avatar left, because they're like, this is not what we wrote. So,
yeah. I guess they already signed the contract too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's why I have a lot of respect for Oda right now, because he didn't just give away his rights to.
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is my art, this is my work. We're gonna do it the way I want it to.
You got to if you're gonna get it right.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the guy who came up with it, they wouldn't even have a movie. They wouldn't have any material. They wouldn't have a story. So either they're going to tell the story or they're not. I mean, it's simple as that.
Right. You got anything else, Mr. Tank?
Man, dude, just stick with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've read Karma. Jay is reading the other one. I
Nice.
mean, I've enjoyed the one that I've read, and I look forward to seeing what else you come out with, man.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm gonna have to pick your brain after all this and get some writing tips from you.
Nice.
It sounds very sanitary.
You guys going to be at another convention here soon?
Maybe.
What's coming up?
I don't know.
I know.
Right now, we are mainly focused on just meet and greet. That's what we are focused on right now.
When next weekend, Dogwood. So, well, when this airs, it'll be afterwards. But come up to Dogwood, the 5th and the 6th.
Okay.
We'll be here.
Did MobyCon already happen? I can't remember.
I think that's the one that's next weekend because
Okay.
I know Rob and them are going. I think they're going to Mobile on the 5th. No, yeah, the 5th and the 6th. I think. So not this weekend, but next weekend.
Oh yeah, did the guys over at the Bear and Beard? Did they tell you about Azalea Con, CityCon?
Yeah, July 14th and 15th. No,
Yeah. Did they tell you that I got to meet them there?
No, they didn't.
Yeah. It's like I was going to go to that convention. It's like the very first one that they had, and I found out that they were going to be there. I was like, oh, because I emailed them too, just like I emailed you guys. And so I was like, well, I can go ahead and meet them in person and say what's up, you know. And it was funny because they had a panel where they were going to record an episode for their show, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
and
they were talking nerdy live.
Yeah, that's right. And they were wanting people to bring up any kind of fandom or genre or something like that. And I was sitting there in the audience, and I was like, I came up with Cyberpunk, right? And I came up there, and they handed me the mic. I sat in between them, and they wanted me to state my name into the camera and all that. So as soon as I told them Tobey Truestory, dude was like, wait a minute, don't I have an email from somebody like that? So it's like, yeah, I snuck up on you. So it was kind of like an impromptu interview. It was pretty fun. I liked it.
Oh yeah, they're good people, man. They're good people.
Yeah.
Definitely helped us out a lot, you know, getting us onto like Buzzsprout and helping us figure out what the hell to do because we got on here and we had no idea what we were doing, and we're like, can you help us?
They do a lot of work for charities as well. They're good people. We wouldn't be friends with them or even like have anything to do with them if they weren't.
Yeah.
There's enough negativity in my life. I don't need more.
I
try to surround myself with positive influences. And Jay and my wife and Bear and Beard and Oso and all of them tend to be pretty positive 99% of the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're definitely charismatic guys. So.
Well, I mean, everybody has their down days, you know. Everybody gets sad and upset, so you can't be positive 100% of the time. That's
true.
Yeah.
If you are, you're faking it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we got us. We got Bear, Bill Oso, the Beard, and the other Jay, which he's Nerd Squatch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's everybody in this little group is cool. They're supportive. They understand we all have bad days, and they also understand that we have days where we just don't feel like podcasting sometimes. You know.
All right.
That was one of the things that a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes you just need a little break. And they're very supportive of us. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. It's a lot of work, I bet.
It's fun though. It's the labor of love.
Oh yeah.
Like, we had on Juju and Lulu last week. Was it last week?
No, it was 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. See, he's this guy is the editor and the brains of everything.
That guy is the fancy reach out and touch you.
Yeah, I'm the guy that reaches out to people, but I'm also the guy that makes the videos and does
Yeah.
all the socials, makes all the cool videos. And when we had Juju and Lulu on, it was to a point where I was like, I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, I have no idea what you I had no idea. So I
Right.
made a funny one with Dexter in it, and I'm like, I failed you. So that's all
Yeah.
I could think of. But then the next day, I'm like, I know what to make. Bang. So,
There we go. There we go.
better than others, you know. That's the writer's block for me.
Yeah, well, keep trying, well, I guess they can call that practice or something like that, right? Just keep doing it and you get better at it.
Well, I do want to ask you one last thing.
What's that?
One thing is, go ahead and shout out your socials. That way people can follow.
Oh yeah. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Just look for Tobey Truestory. You can find my books on Amazon, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other bookstores on there that I can't even think of. And then I forget my actual website. My main website is Tobey Truestory, number 7 .wix site, as in WIXSITE.com, and then the / and Tobey Truestory.
Don't worry. Kent can put it right down here. That way people won't forget.
Right.
I will ask you one last thing. Will you please tell the people to follow it?
What's that?
Will you
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Will you tell the people to follow it?
Oh yeah, guys. I mean, I already follow your show too. So I mean, if anybody wants to get some awesome conversations and meet some of the celebrities you guys get to meet and talk to, I mean, I know a lot of people are probably trying to find the type of podcast that talk about these kind of things, and it's this one, definitely this one. So
you heard it. You heard it here from the author himself, Tobey Truestory. So y'all better follow it.
On the horizon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon episodes coming up soon.
We don't.
Nice.
Hey, actually, yes, they are. I forgot about it. Okay, yeah. So you heard it. I'm sorry I ran out of breath. I got excited. But anyway, you heard.
He's like a chihuahua. He's easily excitable. He will also bite your ankles.
Dang it. You got to get low to do that.
That is not going to happen. But yeah, guys, make sure you follow Tobey on all the socials. Make sure everything you guys. Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to edit that.
Oh, I'm leaving that one in.
Okay. All right, guys, make sure you follow Tobey Truestory on all of his socials. Make sure you follow him on his website, and make sure you follow us on all the stuff that we have: Facebook, Twitter. Even though I don't really go on the Twitter, so y'all guys gonna be crap.
How you gonna have Twitter and not even go onto it?
Because Twitter was supposed to get people on. Anyway,
I do sometimes.
You know
It's called
You know
X now.
Go to Kindle and check out Tobey's. He's got a few books on Kindle. Check them out and then go buy the other ones.
There we go.
Then come over here and go to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for us. There we go. I got it.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. You're everywhere.
All right, guys. Well, we will see y'all next time, and I hope to see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.
Attention passengers, this is your conductor speaking. We are departing the hesitation station. Please stand clear of the closing doors.